So maybe like me, you're ambitious about a new skill. You're hyped up and you can't wait to get started to achieving your goals. Chances are you're planning on becoming very good at that skill as well, like impressively good. Maybe you're even dreaming of becoming one of the best. Because that'd be pretty sick, right? And if that's true, you are in what I call your own little la la land at the moment. And I'm here to just briefly get your ass back to earth, tell you what you could be doing to avoid wasting your money and time into something you're not sure you're committed to yet. And after you've done that, you can go back to La La Land. Because just between the two of us, it turns out La La Land is what distinguishes the good from the best. Let's go. Whether you really are the irrationally ambitious type of guy, or you're generally still unsure if your chosen skill is something you want to pursue, I've made this video to hopefully give you the idea or some tools to help you demystify your goal and maybe come a bit closer to reality when it comes to learning your new skill. Now, I found there are three main benefits to what I call exploring a skill. The first one is the reality check, then deconstruction, and third, context. Most of us start with goals like, I want to pass the JLPT N1, like me, for example. Or I want to be able to muscle up. I want to be rich. I want to be smoking. I want to stop smoking. And these are good because I think they're very inspirational and they give direction towards that goal. But I also think you should make an effort to see the whole picture. What you're trying to find out is, if we take I want to be rich, what does it actually mean to be rich and how do I get there? And what would my daily life look like if I would work towards that goal? And maybe how would my life look like if I actually achieved that goal? Because the goal might have actually been a bit different than you imagined before. So I think if you focus on the process instead of the end goal, it makes it a bit realer for yourself. A little thing I do is to rephrase those goals to include my identity. Instead of saying, I want to stop smoking, I say, I'm not a smoker. Or instead of, I want to pass the JLPT, I want to be the kind of person that is JLPT N1 certificated. I feel like with that, it automatically kind of involves you more and gets you to think one step further and includes your life, maybe your routine, your schedule, and stuff like that. So I think in conclusion, modifying the standard I want to XYZ type of goal to include your identity gives you a more realistic solution, while I believe still maintaining all the inspiration and all the direction giving aspects of it. Another benefit of exploring a skill is what I call deconstruction. And what I mean by that is breaking down your chosen skill in order to get familiar with the little sub-skills and different aspects of your practice that you might have not known about before. When it comes to learning an instrument, for example, let's just take the guitar. One might really underestimate the amount of theory, chord progressions, or scales that are actually involved in the process of becoming a good artist. Breaking down a skill in this way, I think, really helps you to find out if your new interest is actually something you want to pursue, or maybe it just looked cool in the beginning and turned out to be quite different from what you expected. Your other advantage is context. And this is something that will mainly matter once you've already started learning a new skill. Because the overview or your context that you've now acquired from your exploration phase will allow you to kind of categorize all new information that you come across. And it is much easier to firstly understand, but then also to memorize information if you already know what role this piece of info actually plays in the grand scheme of things. When studying anatomy, for example, it's quite useful to have knowledge about surrounding structures and their functions, and also a rough idea about where everything else is in the body. Knowing that the lung is divided into two parts and gives oxygen to the blood comes in very handy when you're trying to learn about the heart and the circulation system, for example. And now, while this example might be very simplified, the concept still holds true for even more complex topics. Now that we're done with the general benefits and the concepts of the exploration phase, I'll now get to the strategies that you can use in real life to reap those benefits. And the first one is actually quite common. And those are like introductory courses. For example, if you want to be a good chef, you can go to a cooking class. Or if you want to be a diver, you go to a diving class. You know what I mean. It doesn't really need to be like an actual course that many people go to and you pay, but just get your feet wet in the first place. Now, another thing is just Googling it or watching YouTube videos. And that's probably the thing that most of us do actually. That's at least what I did at first. And it's really expiring. I, for example, with Japanese, I've watched many videos of people who learn Japanese, whose native language isn't actually Japanese, and go out to restaurants or districts or shopping malls and actually speak Japanese and get great reactions. And the goal of this beginning part is really to have fun. Right now, it's good to just get excited about your skill. Another thing you can do, which really is one of the best ways I think, is to interview a person that's actually spent quite a lot of time doing your skill already. Now, he doesn't need to be a master or something, just someone who spent some time doing it. And remember, you will gain new knowledge from that. And when you gain knowledge, you'll be able to ask better questions, or rather more precise questions. And more precise questions will give you more precise answers, which are better answers. Now, another thing that might be good is actually watch someone practice. And this is pretty boring, to be honest, but it really gives you the picture of how mundane practice can be. While practice is the stage where most of the progress, or rather almost all of the progress happens, it can appear quite mundane and actually look quite not fun. And now you can go back to the video that inspired you in the first place with a newly gained perspective and just think about if the skill is something you want to do. Just a little finishing message. While I think this logical decision-making approach is a good idea, I do not mean to take the beauty out of getting excited to learn something new. Quite the opposite, actually. With the video, I hope to help you find the tools that you need to find something you're passionate about. And you don't have to follow it step by step, like I laid it out in this video. It's just a few ideas, which I do think are helpful when you're trying to get behind what it really takes to learn a skill, but don't let it kill your motivation. Like I promised in the intro, it's now time to get a bit crazy again. Because to be honest, when you want to be really good at something, maybe even the best, and you maybe have family, or you have a job, or you maintain your social life, you're probably a bit crazy. Anyway, have fun, I'll see you in the next one, and thank you for watching this video. As you can see, I've tried out a few new angles. I'm actually filming with my phone now. I hope the quality is actually better because the workflow is a bit of a pain in the ass, but I'll figure it out. And just like the video if you've come this far.